Guys, this is Young Shot here, back here today to give you guys another video. This time we're going to be doing it straight from the video cam. First, we got the standings and power rankings that I like to discuss about so far. Since we are on the break of All-Star break, pretty much, games will not resume until Thursday, which will give me a lot of time to basically talk about standings, power rankings, and anything a team is going through so far into the season. I also will give you more league news and any updates on the playoff race. So let's hop into it. Now, the first thing I want to bring up is the Eastern Conference. The Eastern Conference is a crazy situation here because we can automatically include that Cleveland's going to get the first spot, even though there's still a chance that Boston or a team like Washington can still push and possibly get there. Cleveland right now primarily owns that first spot, and I don't see it going anytime soon. They won 3 straight and won 8 of the last 10 out of 10 games. They're 39-16, so I don't see them moving at any spot. Boston right now is second place with 37-20. Previously from below, they have been winning and basically carrying out a lot of games due to IT fourth quarter scoring and pretty much defense in general, hanging in tough games and beating the tough opponents. Washington right now is in third place. We won 4 straight and really good at home right now, 24-7. They protect home turf like it's nothing. Previously way below, I think, Toronto. Toronto that lost 5 straight in a row, now 33-24. We're pretty much with 10-2 and against the division, but I've been losing a lot of games, as I said, losing 5 straight. Atlanta Hawks, who's 1 game or a half game back from Toronto, is 32-24. They've been in the mix. They've basically been fighting in and out, basically trying to get past Toronto, get past Washington. They still at the same spot even after the Kyle Korver trade, and basically they're just trying to move up, get to that third spot. That's what they can do. Possibly second, but I don't see them moving anytime soon. And then the breakaway is pretty much half of the playoff seeding, and then the bottom half right now will be the Indiana Pacers, 29-28, with 11 games back from first place, and I believe almost 3.5 games back from Atlanta. So that's basically the cutaway. They lost 6 straight after winning a few games. They just dropped down again. I thought Indiana is really desperately trying to get and make sure they stay in that 6th spot. Chicago right now been a disastrous season, but still in the 7th spot. Still has a chance to drop down. They're only 1 game back from Indiana. And then you got the Detroit Pistons, who is fighting for the playoff lives with the 8th seed. 1 game back from Chicago and 2 games back from Indiana, 27-30. And then you got the bottom half teams, say, for example, Milwaukee Bucks, who is 2 games, need 2 wins and a win column to basically tie the 8th seed. They 1 game back. Miami is 2 games back, who caught on fire after winning, I think, 13 straight, which is ridiculous, and they finally lost, but now they look like they're still in chance for the 8th seed in the Eastern Conference. And they also got Charlotte, who's 2.5 games back, pretty much trying to fight in. They've been playing disastrous defense so far, lost 4 straight. And then you got the New York Knicks, who is 4 games back from 8th seed, 23-34, who everybody thought would be in the playoffs at least 5th or 6th seed, or at least 4th seed. And they've been a very huge disappointment this season so far. And then you got the bottom half, which is pretty much Philadelphia, who has been trying to make a push but can't really. Orlando, who has already given up on the season, and Brooklyn, who have lost 14 straight, most likely headed for the lottery, most likely a top 3 pick, depending on the situation. I think Boston owns that pick, so they have a high chance of winning so far in the lottery, and also they're in the top seed, so it makes a huge difference. Now for the Western Conference, the automatic favorites to win the NBA Finals, basically based on betting and everybody's public opinion. Golden State 47-9. They lost one game. They lost game on the road, I believe. They 30-7 on the conference, 10-2 in the division, and really good home record as well. San Antonio 4 games back from Golden State, 43-13 right now. Always San Antonio has been a traditional team that always push and strive to basically be the top spot, and I think Greg Popovich wouldn't take no exception to it. Houston 40-18, 4 games back from San Antonio, 8 games back from the first spot. They most likely will hold on to that third spot. Clippers 35-21 with the absence of Chris Paul, to pretty much gain any traction or even push up. When they also have the Utah Jazz, who is only a half game back of them. Utah leads number 1 in defense in the entire league through points per game. Really good defensive team. They do sometimes struggle on offense, but again, they make up what they have on defense to support their offense. Pretty much with 2.5 games back from them is the Memphis Grizzlies with 34-24. With 14 games back from the first place spot, there are the 6th seed, and you have OKC 7th seed, which I don't think will be moving anytime soon unless Memphis start dropping games. And then pretty much a big split from the 7th seed to the 8th seed. You can see Denver is literally 6.5 game back from OKC. And you got Denver, Sacramento, Portland, and Dallas Mavericks all fight, and Minnesota Timberwolves basically fighting for the 8th seed. Sacramento, who is basically going to start tanking because they just traded DeMarcus Cousins to one of the 8th seeded, or basically one of the teams that's fighting for the 8th seed, or Pelicans, who has to see records should go up and possibly make it out to the 8th seed. Sacramento will plummet it beneath Portland, New Orleans, and Dallas, and most likely Minnesota, unless they find some ways to win, which I find highly unlikely, especially with the young group and not having a lot of veterans on the team. Portland still have a shot to possibly get there. New Orleans, again, with the addition with DeMarcus Cousins and addition to the roster, what they should have of free agents like Quinn Cook and Mario Chalmers, and possibilities of adding more through the trade deadline, which is only in 2 more days. You may see a big push for those Mavericks. That's pretty much people thought they would be out. Still not out of it yet. Only 3 games behind, and Minnesota, who is 3.5 games behind with the young roster that they have. And pretty much just going down the list, you got LA Lakers 1939, pretty much going to be in the lottery, and Phoenix Suns pretty much in the lottery as well with their record. Now, since we just went through most of the Eastern Conference and the Western Conference, it's time to do the power rankings, and then I'll give my discussion on the playoff race and basically tell you my public opinion about who I think should be in the 8th seed, who I think should be fighting, who I think should be winning some games. So we'll just see from. So you're gonna check out right here, pretty much. We got, so bring it up here right now for you guys. My fault. We got Golden State, San Antonio, Cleveland Cavaliers, Washington Wizards, Houston Rockets, Boston Celtics, LA Clippers, Utah, Memphis Grizzlies, the Toronto Raptors, Atlanta, OKC, Chicago, Milwaukee, Indiana, Detroit, Denver, Heat, Kings, Portland, Hornets, Dallas, Pelicans, Knicks, Minnesota, Philadelphia Suns, Orlando, Lakers, and the Nets as the official power rankings for me. Leave a description or a link at below, pretty much giving you to my Google Docs to check out the power rankings that I set up from there. and I let you guys know how I feel basically on both of them if you comment on the section below, or if you want to check out my blog, which is on blogger.com, on the description below. So pretty much now with the standings and pretty much with the power rankings out the way, now I'm going to give you guys my take on the playoff race and how it should be. We got Chicago right now fighting for the 7th, basically trying to see their way not getting out of the playoffs. We're doing the Eastern Conference, by the way. And you also got Indiana right here on the trap as well. Another team that I want to look at in the Eastern Conference is Toronto and Atlanta, and also the 2nd and 3rd seed, which is Boston and Washington. Pretty much Boston has took a commanding lead after the break, pretty much winning a couple of games and then losing to, I believe, Utah or somebody, or Sacramento. Washington win 4 straight. They're on the hot streak and slowly but surely making their way back up. Toronto lost 5 straight and dropped all the way down to 4th, almost 5th. If Atlanta didn't lose a game, Toronto would have been up there, or at least down to the 5th spot. So pretty much Cleveland right now is automatically gonna take that 1st spot. I don't see them getting moved at any point. Detroit right now in the 8th seed, fighting for the playoff lot again. I feel that Milwaukee is gonna pass them eventually, depending on if they do a trade deadline move regardless. Miami's right there as well. They've been playing really well lately. We also got the Charlotte Hornets, who could still come back and get back to the 8th seed. But I feel like Detroit gonna take it better defense. Don't have the offense, but defense goes a long way into winning games. So pretty much and getting to that playoff spot. So I feel like they will get it. I feel like Chicago will keep their spot, and I feel like Indiana will keep it, but will drop down probably to Chicago. Indiana's been on a very bad offensive take. They just cannot seem to score offense and play defense, but they still a positive record, still in the playoffs, and still basically fighting out for the 6th seed. And who knows, if they start getting the winning streak, they could possibly pass Atlanta, or maybe the Toronto Raptors if Toronto continues to lose. Toronto just got Serge Ibaka, so that should help a lot in pretty much making sure they get back up top of the Eastern Conference after a very large sink down, and it should really help them in the process here. So let's go straight to the West now. As you see, Golden State definitely keeping that 1st spot. I don't see any movement. I don't see them moving or losing a lot of games. San Antonio is pretty much 4 games back. I see them keeping their spot, and I see Houston keeping their spot at 3rd. Now the interesting places now will be the 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th seed. Pretty much it's any guy's race from there, from the 4th to the 7th seed. OKC could start a run. Memphis could start a run. Utah is only a half game back from Clippers. Clippers without Chris Paul as well. And there's been rumored of trade reports with Blake Griffin. Who knows if the Clippers is just trying to tank or pretty much not provide much in going into the playoffs. Utah is also there. I feel like Utah is going to pass Clippers with Chris Paul still being out. I feel like Utah is going to somehow pull out wins to get there and get to the Clippers spot and get to the 4th seed. Memphis is there as well. I wouldn't be surprised if Memphis moves up a little bit, but then again, I wouldn't be surprised if they move down. But I do see OKC still staying at the 7th spot and Memphis still staying at the 6th spot. So the only thing I will probably look at is mostly just Utah and Los Angeles. I feel like Utah can pass Clippers with an ease. And then now going straight down to the 8th seed, we got Denver, Sacramento, Portland, and New Orleans. I feel like New Orleans and Dallas is gonna definitely fight New Orleans, Denver, Dallas, and Portland is definitely gonna fight for that 8th seed. And I feel like Denver doesn't have enough firepower to basically get there. I feel like Portland's gonna be right there in the mix, and once they get together, I think they're gonna have a great second half, possibly get to the 8th seed and secure it. But then again, you could expect that the Pelicans could get 8th seed with ease, depending on how does the DeMarcus Cousins trade work out. There's still a chance that AD and DeMarcus doesn't work out, and we pretty much still need a season to, basically get adjusted to each other. But then again, they were college teammates, so you may never know what's going to happen. I feel Pelicans could push on with the talent they have now on paper. They could push on and get to the 8th seed, or is out of Portland. I feel like Dallas doesn't have enough as well to get to the 8th seed, depending on one, Dirk's health, Harrison Barnes' play, and also Wesley Matthews' play as well. And also the role players, because Yogi Ferrell and Steph Curry has definitely stepped it up in the coming days. So you just gotta see from there. I don't think Minnesota is going to push or get anywhere close to the 8th seed, and Sacramento's definitely dropping down after the trade. So that's pretty much what we got for the playoff race. That's my public opinion. As far as the lottery goes, I feel the Nets is definitely going to get crack at the 25th spot. There's no question in my mind. They're 9-47, far away from other teams. Orlando's far. I still feel like Philadelphia doesn't have a legit shot. Without Embiid, they pretty much cannot make a push like they did, winning 13 straight. And that's pretty much it. So that's what I call my power ranking, my standing, and my playoff race for today. Thanks God for tuning in. This is Young Shot, and I'm out. Peace.